always someone waiting for me down below. I would rather leave him unprovoked. I don't believe I belong here, but there's nowhere else for me that I can go. Been learning to levitate, head and heart I've been trying to separate. They keep telling me that I should meditate. Ever seen a demon meditate? I thought my demons were almost defeated, but you took their side and you pulled them to freedom. I kept your secrets and I thought that you would do the same. Leave me in peace. How am I meant to love myself when I believe deep down I'm irrelevant? All I ask is don't forget me.
What's up, everybody? We're here with Mr. Jacob Lee. I appreciate you coming on, man. Seriously.
No, it's a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me, and also for making your reaction videos to my songs. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. It's an honor to do so. You come across a lot of the same old garbage out there, a lot of the same thing, the mainstream music that people are listening to, and I'm just like, God, why don't I hear people like you? I come across you and I'm like, why aren't you on my radio? Like, yeah. It boggles the mind. So for anybody that doesn't know who you are, give us a brief introduction to Jacob Lee.
Yeah, okay. I'll try and keep it brief. I am a singer-songwriter, an independent singer-songwriter. I've always been independent. I've never signed a record deal. I've never had a manager, barely had any booking agents. And I've always, from the very beginning, like from as far back as I can remember, have wanted to create visceral, tangible stories in music. And that has never changed. Like, I'm 30 now, 30 years old. And the mission has stayed the same from when I was probably like 12 years old. Like, I found out what I wanted to do very young, and I did it from a very young age. And I think I've just been honing my songwriting and my lyrical ability this entire time. And I would say in my catalog of like 80 plus songs, I've co-written 2 or 3 maximum. I don't really co-write ever. I'm always, apart from my family and my friends, whenever I'm creating, I'm alone in here primarily. And I think that's why when people find my music, they feel something different, because it's not influenced by anything or anyone. It's just whatever's coming from here in the day, I'll put down. And I don't really care if anyone likes it. You know, if they do, it's a bonus. But if they don't, it's me expressing my creativity in its most authentic form. And I think that's why people connect with it.
Absolutely. That's about as real as it gets. I'm making the music for me. I don't care. If you like it along the way, cool. Like, if you feel something and it touches you in some sort of way, cool. But it doesn't have to. Not everybody has to like things. That's what I tell people all the time. Even I don't do any negative reactions, because I don't feel like I should shit on someone else's art. That because there are people like you that are out there doing it for themselves. And why would, to somebody, it's their favorite song, it's their favorite tune to listen to, it's their favorite jam. There's no reason for me to put it down with my personal opinion of your song. So if I come across something that I don't like, I just don't do a reaction to it. I tell people, hey, send me something else, give me the same band, I'll give them another shot on a different song, but I couldn't really get into this. But I'm not gonna go out there and just make like a diss video about somebody's art, because it is that personal thing to somebody out there. And I don't know, I've just never seen the draw in causing drama and chaos. It doesn't make sense in my mind.
No, I appreciate that. And I think that's one of the reasons that I've wanted to come on here and chat with you. Like, a lot of the people online now, they know that controversy is going to get them clicks. And so they pivot their entire channel to just rinsing people, because they know that it's going to get more attention. There's going to be more controversy in the comments, and they tend to see more success, whatever that means, from that in the way of viewership and subscribers. But I think those who, like me, like you, try and stay authentic to, you know, your actual opinions that you think you want to share, that aren't going to discredit anybody, then you develop a really beautiful reputation, which I think you have with your channel and your subscribers. So congrats.
Yeah, it's been a fun ride. My subscribers have taught me a lot. They've got me a lot more with a lot of their requests in tune with my emotions, because I used to be the most hardened person that like, there was no crying. What the hell is crying? We don't cry.
Yeah.
Like, that's not the way that I was raised. But no, I don't know. There's just something about, and I haven't even heard your whole catalog yet. I know that there's so much more to go through, but everything that we've heard has felt authentic. It's felt very, very real. It's felt very personal to you. And I think that's a lot of people, they just try to write something down to get a song out there so it gets a bunch of views. They're going to edit and do things include a lot of this noise that you hear in mainstream music. And I don't hear any of that in any of your songs. It's just like, it catches you and you want to stay focused to it. I don't know. There's something addictive about it for sure. You got a hell of a voice. Do you play any instruments?
Yeah. I play the acoustic guitar primarily. I mean, I am very basic with keys and synths. I can do enough to write with them, but never ask me to play it on stage. I'll be hitting bung notes left, right, and center. But I would say my primary skill set that I've developed is production and songwriting and vocals. Guitar is another one that I accompany myself with, and I can write all day, every day with it, but I've never put enough time into being a guitarist. I've always wanted to be a lyricist and a storyteller, so I put more emphasis on the vocals and the words and all that kind of stuff.
Fantastic. Like, I don't know. It's just, there's something raw and real and emotional about a lot of the tracks that we've heard. And like, obviously he writes it from a very personal place. I don't know how else to describe it. Like, there's just music that you hear that's just music. And then there's songs that you hear and you're like, holy shit. Like, I can totally connect to this song. We took in a whole bunch of questions from subscribers. Some of them are real random. They're not going to be in any particular order. And like I told you before we even started, if there's anything you come up on that you don't want to talk about, we'll skip over it. So you're in Australia?
Mm-hmm.
Always born and raised? Same spot?
Yeah. I was born about half an hour from where I live now, and I've moved houses 3 times. And now I'm in my own property with my 2 sons and my partner, Nikki, and my dog.
Very cool. 2 sons. Little ones, big ones?
Malachi is 2 years old and Luca is 5.
Okay. Oh yeah, you say you're 30. You're still a young buck. I got you by 11 years.
We've been contemplating the third. We're not sure. We're pretty happy with 2, but it's not off the table. So there might be another small human at some stage.
Hey, that's okay. Small humans are awesome and we love them.
They are.
Let's see. Where are we going to start at? What's good? We'll start with right at the beginning. How is this from Suzette? What comes first, the music or the lyrics?
So it used to be both simultaneously, which is a weird one. I used to only write on the acoustic guitar. And when I found a melody, I found the lyrics came with the melody. And then, you would tweak them after the fact, but the general concept would come with the emotion of the melody. These days, because I implement a lot of different instruments and I'm usually at the computer with Pro Tools and kind of producing it in real time, it's the melodies first, which is pretty stock standard for most musicians and songwriters. Like, you want to come up with a melody that is going to catch people, and then you inject the lyrics onto it after the fact. And I found that to be a really difficult shift when I started learning production and doing everything in the studio, because the emotion that I originally had kind of had dispersed by the time I got to the lyrics. Like, I was working on the kick drum and the beat and like getting the different like pad sounds and whatever. And I used all that initial emotion in that section. So that was kind of all dry by the time I got to the lyrics. And I was like, how am I going to inject words onto this? But through practice, it's become a lot more easy. And I'm now able to finish all the melodies, have the structure of the song, and then kind of contemplate what I think those melodies should be about. And over the span of a day, sometimes a week, I'll just kind of craft those lyrics in that story and finish it off.
It literally takes you sometimes a day to write a song to get it done.
Rarely, sometimes. Today is a exception. I started a song just before this interview, probably 2 hours ago, and all the melodies are done, the production's finished, and I just have to do lyrics. So it was just came out of everything just came. But the song prior to that, which is not out either, it's called what's it going to be called? A Love Like Ours, because it's a romantic love song.
Okay.
That took me like 2 weeks just for lyrics, and it fucking annoyed the shit out of me. I was like, why can't I come up with the words? It just took it. Like, sometimes you'll sit for 3 days on one line and you'll come up with like 50 different variations of that line and still not be happy. And you need to take a break, feel frustrated, go for a walk, come back with a fresh brain, try again. And then eventually you always find it. But creativity is volatile, so you never know when it's going to come.
Yeah, just bubble up on you in the most random of places, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That was actually one of my questions. What's the weirdest place you've ever been where you just been like, aha, I've got a song moment? Like,
the weirdest place. I mean, the ideas a lot of the time for me come in a very deliberate fashion. Like, I'll be sitting down consciously to write, allowing that creative energy to come through, and then the ideas will kind of flow because I've opened that up. But what I found, maybe every like third song, every fourth song on average, a line will come into my head, and it could be the most basic thing that I don't even recognize initially, but for the span of a week or two, that line just keeps popping in. And I'm like, obviously I need to write something around this line. Sometimes it's complex and philosophical and interesting. The line that I just couldn't get out of my head for this song prior to the one I wrote today is the most simple thing you would ever imagine. It's over and over again and again. That just kept coming into my head over and over again and again. And I was like, I'm going to write a song with that as the first line of the chorus. So I've just finished this song and it starts with over and over again and again. It's, you know, you never know what it's going to be, but that for some reason, those words wouldn't leave my head. And I was like, all right, I'm just going to inject that into something so it can go away, so I can come up with something else.
I got to get it out of there. I got to do something with it.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll leave you alone after that. So you're doing everything by yourself. Do you ever bring in musicians? Do you ever bring in a band? Do you ever? Yes. Is it mostly just, hey, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to knock this out by myself?
I would say for me, the songwriting is sacred. So that's always me, and I need to be alone. As I said, sometimes I'll co-write, and sometimes those songs turn into things I really enjoy, and I'll keep them. And that'll just be a 50-50 split down the middle. But I think, like I said before, there might be like 3 songs in my catalog that have been that way. Once the song is done, the lyrics are finished, the melodies are complete, I've produced it to the level that I can. Then I have people who I can say, look, I need a beautiful piano part, and I've got the guy for that. I need a really like shreddy guitar solo. I've got the guy for that. Like, these people are geniuses in those areas where I'm not. So I can call upon them to be like, look, I've done my best. This is shit. Please come in and like fix this for me. And then they'll kind of improve upon my idea with inflections and actual professional playing.
Very good. That's what, because doing it all by yourself has got to get tiresome at times. You have to run into some places where you're like, damn, I could really use some help right here.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference when you find your creative team. And I was lucky to find those people years ago. So I've worked with the same people now for, well, probably 7-8 years now. And yeah, like I said, I know who to call upon when I need keys, when I need strings, when I need drums, like real drums. And they can listen to what I've programmed and say, I get it. And then they'll just do it better than I ever could. And that's why the songs always sound so pristine, because I've got the guys to call upon to bring that vision to life.
Yeah, it's always important to have the right people in your pocket. It's all about who you know.
Yeah.
While we're on the topic of you doing it by yourself, Rudolph asked the question. He said, so you have your own label, right?
Yeah.
And which means that you have licenses to all your own songs. But there's been a lot of people, a lot of artists out there on YouTube that are still even with their own music, running into these false copyright claims and things like that. Do you ever experience that?
Yeah, I do. And you just have to whitelist your own music, you know? So even if you're distributing through an independent distributor like DistroKid or TuneCore, once you release your own song on YouTube, it's still going to come up as a copyright claim. And all you need to do is go into those websites, put the link in, and just say, no, this is my song. Like, I'm whitelisting this song, and it'll just completely remove that claim. So unfortunately, I've not found a distribution service where it'll like tether to your channels and tether to your YouTube, so it just knows who you are. You have to manually do that every single time.
Oh, Jesus. That's why everybody's having such a hard issue with it.
It's not ideal. But then, for example, when people like yourself react to my videos, if you reached out or somebody reached out and said, hey, could you whitelist this for me? I'd be like, of course I can. And then you would receive more royalties from your video because it's not getting claimed by me. Like, because Universal and whatnot, they'll like take down people's channels. There's all these issues with the reactions. I'm sure you've seen that before. But when you've had them, I bet, like, you want people to share your stuff. You want people to react to it. So that's why whenever someone reaches out, like, hey man, like, I've just made this video, I'm like, of course. And it takes me 3 seconds. I can just put your URL in and I can whitelist that for you. So
very cool. That was them. Inga is one. She does an independent artist live stream, and she told me ask you if there's any way that she could start using a couple of your videos in her live stream so people could see it on there. I told her I would ask. How do you feel about what's your thoughts on people using your music for certain things?
No stress whatsoever, especially when it's live streams, YouTube videos, stuff like that. I think it gets a little bit more complex when it's like a commercial release. You know, like if someone's using it in a short film, if they're putting it in a TV series, of course, like then you need different licensing agreements. But for YouTube and whatnot, it's a simple click of a button, you know?
Okay.
With a live stream, I've even found this difficult where I had an idea where I wanted to have a 24/7 Jacob Lee radio on my YouTube channel, where it was just playing all my songs, playing all my music videos, so people could go and just watch it live and they could chat to people in the chat. But within an hour and a half, even when I was manually whitelisting the video and every single song in real time, it would still claim me, strike me, and say you can't use these songs. And I was like, oh, so the live stream thing is difficult. It depends on the length of the stream. That's all I'll say. So if you're doing an hour-long stream and you've used my song, you can take that video and send me the URL just like you would with any video, and I can whitelist it. But if it's going to be 2 hours, 3 hours, within that period, YouTube is going to recognize it and probably just kill your stream in real time.
They do. They like to do that. That's the only reason we don't do anything. Lots of my fellow reactors out there doing live stream reactions and things. There's just too much chaos when it comes to live streams, because when you make a video, then you can put in for fair use. You can put in for all of these things, and a lot of artists want you to use it, but there is no fair use rights when it comes to a live stream. You're using it on the spot. You don't know whether or not you have permission for it, and then YouTube's going to screw you. I don't know. There's definitely some things that need to be fixed with their whole copyright detection process.
Totally.
Will it ever happen? Who knows? Even I can't tell you that. Like,
I don't know. It seems pretty complex in that regard when it's like real time, like in a live stream. Like, unless they figure out a way where you can display permission through their system in advance, maybe. But I've not found a way where you can do that. Like, even when I've worked with like distributors, like, you know, not independent distributors, people who like distributors who are under Sony or Universal or whatever, they can't even do it. And it's like, okay, like that feature just is not available yet.
Nope. They need to hurry up and fix something with it, because there are a lot of false people that anybody can just go and claim your video in some cases. And it's like, wait a minute. There has to be some sort of checks and balances. For every time there's a new change, all of the reactors think, "Oh God, this is it. We're done for. There's no way that we're going to survive this." luckily we've been able to skate by the skin of our teeth. I've had my run-ins with copyright strikes. Lord knows I have the damn Village People. I can't stand the Village People anymore. I might buy a bunch of their albums just to set them on fire on a live stream because
Gotcha.
they screwed us over when we were doing really, really well back in the day. Got my
frustrating.
channel shut down. Yeah, it's real frustrating, especially since it was a claim on a cover of a Village People song. I'm like, how are you gonna claim a cover for someone that obviously had a license to perform your song?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just it really is. It's chaotic when it comes to the live streams.
In defense of the Village People, it might not have actually been them unless they directly reached out to you and it was.
Oh, they did.
Oh, okay.
It was the police officer from the Village People. His wife is a lawyer, and they were even going after other Village People for rights to songs and things like that. It was crazy. It was during COVID. Everybody was hurting for money because nobody was working. So I understand people had to do what they had to do to get theirs, but
yeah,
it destroyed a lot of things as well.
Yeah, it's frustrating, but I guess we know the boundaries. Even with publishing my own music, like we've understood the boundaries and we can kind of operate within them, I guess.
Yeah, as long as I don't see UMG or Sony or any of the, I don't touch those. I stay far away from the mainstream stuff. I see a lot of reactors out there doing it, but they're also the same ones that are losing their channels. So I'm like, no. We try to stick with people that we know enjoy the reactions, independent artists. Occasionally we'll run into some, but by now I can normally tell, okay, you can use that or you can't.
Yeah.
So a couple questions. You were on The Voice, I hear.
Yeah.
That was the first question from Erwin about The Voice was, how was the experience? And did it give you any insight on the music industry that made you say, you know what? No, I want to stay independent.
I would say all of the above. I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, my mum submitted a video of me singing a cover to The Voice and they liked it. And so I got in, I did all the producer auditions before they even get to the TV. will.i.am turned around for my audition when I was so young and also sung a song.
I thought you were a baby face. They didn't even look the same as you look now.
I know. I'm kind of glad because I mean, like, it's kind of better if people don't know, but if they find out, it's like, whatever, like that's my history. I did reasonably well on the show, I guess. I did 4 performances and they brought back the audition song on the 4th, which I hated. And that was a wrap for me because I mean, I'm as white as you can be. Like, I don't rap. Like, I've got maybe 2 songs in my catalog where I attempt it, but like, it's not my thing. Like, I'm a singer. So having a, Battle Scars by Guy Sebastian, which I think it was Lupe Fiasco was the rapper on that song. That was not it. So one thing you don't know about these shows is they will ask you to provide a list of all the songs you know, whether you know them well or whether you kind of know them, and they choose off that list what you sing. And so at the end of the day, it's my fault for putting the song on the list, but it definitely was like low on that list of songs that I wanted to sing on the show. In regards to learning about the industry, prior to The Voice, all I did was busk and street perform. So I had done that for a decade. I just, where you have your guitar case open, you're getting some money, stuff like that. And I'd never really performed in front of an audience that was looking at me directly, like my goal was to get people to stop, and I was always able to get people to stop, but it was never a performance where people were coming to watch somebody sing. And I guess jumping from busking to The Voice with the production, the lights, the backwards chairs, I'm just like, oh my God. So I was terrified, obviously, as like an 18 or 17.
Everybody would be terrified at the age that you were doing it.
Yeah, it was a full-on thing, but I'm glad that I did it because I got to see what a professional production looked like. I could see how things operated behind the scenes, and I'd never seen that before. One of the experiences that really I would probably say one of the major shaping experiences of my character in my life was right at the end of that show when I got kicked off. There was a dude who I won't name because I'm not going to stir the pot, But he was a very, very, very big name in the industry, probably one of the biggest at that time. I wouldn't say anymore, but at that time. And he was connected to one of the guys on one of the judges on the show. And he was backstage. I walked off stage. He's like, "Hey man, come into this room. I want to chat to you." And we'd never spoken before. And he was like, we think you're amazing. We think you have such a future. Your vocals are amazing. We can see the vision. We want to sign you. And I was like, holy shit, like I'd never been approached like that before.
That's a dream to a lot of people. But
totally. You're a young, naive artist who's like, my life has just changed. And over the span of the rest of the show, which I was no longer on, but obviously it continued until the end, they were contacting me and saying like, "We're in the studio right now. It's about to be on. We're so excited." Like texting, talking on Twitter, like all over the place. And then vanished. As what I've learned they tend to do in the States when something else comes along, it's never a, "Hey, we've changed our mind. Hey, we're no longer interested." It's just cut, done. You hit them up. They never reply. You're not blocked, but you feel like you are. And nowadays, if that happened to me, I'd be like, sick, cool. Like you understand where people are, and like you're not going to get as shook by it. But back then, when I hadn't had those experiences, it like rattled me for a while because of the high hopes they provided that were then just eviscerated in real time. So I honestly am really glad that happened, because
I was about to say the same thing.
Yeah, it made me a very self-sustainable person instead of feeling like I needed to rely on people in the industry to put me in places where I needed to be. I was able to like dive deep into my own craft, create music that I wanted to make. And, you know, my music is done fantastically, you know, ever since The Voice. So I think it really helped me gather a lot of perspective on, okay, there's going to be some severe disappointments in this career, things that you never expect, and you need to be capable enough to deal with them and move on from them without dwelling on them for 6 months.
Yeah, but at the same time, it also, God only knows where you'd be if you had signed.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody knows. You might not even be making the music that you just told us you love making. It might have gone down a whole different route.
I definitely would have, especially at that age. They would have told me what to write. They would have put me in the room with writers. And the thing is, maybe I'd be bigger than I am now. Maybe not. But would I feel like I've fulfilled the dream I had as a 12-year-old? Probably not, because nothing would be mine. I'd probably have 5% of the royalties. I would just be another one of those artists in the machine. And I fucking hate that.
And that's what a lot of people out there, I don't think, really realize, is that in a lot of cases, when they say, "Hey, we want to sign you, we're going to give you X amount of money right now," people think, "Oh, damn, I'm rich." They don't realize that it's a loan that you got to pay back with your music and with your performances and with your merch and with, like, it's not just people giving you, "Here, we believe in you, here, take this $1 million." They're going to want that $1 million back, and they're going to get it out of you.
Yep, you're going to be trapped. And I've experienced things of that nature even after that moment with a different company, where they provided money as a distribution agreement, and it was the worst thing I had ever done. It like shook me and my family to my core, because I had given away the vast majority of my royalties for this advance that was provided. And again, like, there are various moments in your life as an independent artist or as a creative where you kind of bet on something, and you consult the people around you, and you make sure that you're not delusional. You check with other people to see if they think it's a good call. They all agree, and then you leap into it, realizing it was the worst thing you ever could have done. So yeah, I think all of us have those stories. You know, we all have those stories where people come through, they promise you the world, and they might even promise it to you for 8 months, a year, and you're like hesitant the whole time, but then you finally get convinced, and as soon as you sign, that happens again. They just disappear because they've got your signature. It's a terrifying thing, especially for a younger artist. Like, yeah.
It's, I don't know. It's just one of those, like, I'm glad that, in a way, I'm glad you didn't win, because everybody that wins normally signs that piece of paper.
Oh, they have to. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's crazy. There's a lot of inner workings that we don't realize about these favorite shows that we watch with all of these amazing singers out there. So it's nice to hear from the perspective of somebody that was actually there. We've interviewed another one of the Britain's Got Talent Gold Buzzer winners, Kyle Tomlinson, and he said it was a great experience. He would do it again because he did learn a lot. But a lot of people that I've spoken with are like, I'm glad that I didn't win.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I am blessed that I didn't win. Like the person who, if I'm even going to go off of my season, the girl who won, I haven't seen her since. And that could be on her. Maybe she just decided that wasn't it and she had a bad experience and bailed. But it also could be the opposite, where she signed a 10-year deal and they were just like, you know what, you're boring now. And they just couldn't be bothered with her anymore. And she might have just been completely silenced for 8 to 10 years. Who knows? It's like literally career destroying sometimes. And on the other side, though, not to be a pessimist, it can be the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Like I'm not saying don't go on the shows. I'm not saying don't sign. I'm not saying don't find management. It could be the best decision of your career. But you just need to have your wits about you, be very careful and make sure you have leverage when you go into the deals. Otherwise, they're going to take everything they can because they're a business and that's what they're going to do. And that's what they're used to doing. So
read the fine print.
I'll read it with the finest tooth comb, because they'll word some shit in a way that, like, it's magical the way they can word things to confuse you. So yeah.
And then honestly, there's a lot of people that they're signed with these big labels. You don't really hear much about them until they die, and then everything can go platinum, and now all the royalties are going right to the label. Like, that's crazy. A lot of royalties don't even transfer over to your family if something happens to you.
No, that's why, honestly, if you have the wherewithal and the perseverance to do it independently or with a small team, then good on you, man. Because like that's what I've done the vast majority of this career, and that's what I'm doing now. The only thing I've ever signed was a distro deal, which I found to be a shit idea at the end of the day. But that still wasn't a label signing. And honestly, like when you write everything yourself, even if you co-write with a friend, like if you have a small team, you actually make money from your music. You know, like I see people talking on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram all the time. There's no money in music. It's like, just don't even bother. It's like, there's so much money in music. Stop signing your shit away. Like if you're an artist who even gets 1 million, 2 million streams, but you have 10%, you're not getting barely anything. But if you have 95% or 100%, maybe you give 5% to your producer, which I do because we've worked together for years. You're getting mad royalties on the regular, and you can literally sustain a family like I do through my songs. So you just need to be careful.
The independent route, if you've got the opportunity and the means and the wherewithal to do it, has always just seemed, especially with the way YouTube is and the internet and all of the means on which there is to get yourself out there, it always, to me, has always seemed like the best course of action. Like, hey, cool, you might not get found as fast, but you'll get found. If your talent is good and the music is good, people are going to find you, regardless if you have a label or not.
Yeah. And it's honestly, like, people say it's harder than ever. And I can see what they mean with the saturation of music and the saturation of content. I get that. But also the ability to go viral off of a single post has never been as easy. Like I go viral probably every 2-3 weeks. And that's with people who've never, it's not because I have an audience, they're brand new people. Like it's so easy. Like if you
need to start writing that 99-cent ebook and selling it, because you might get rich.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I've seen a vast majority of artists do that, and they probably make some good money off that. But maybe there'll come a time where I feel like I wanna jot down some of the things I've learned. But at this point in time, like,
keep those secrets.
Not even, I don't care. Like I'll give away whatever, but I just want to make sure that my perspectives are correct and apply to the vast majority of people. Like, you know, like, I mean, I have coffee with independent artists or even signed artists pretty frequently because they ask about how I've done things, how I got like 100 million views on a video, how I did this and that. And I'm like, yeah, man, like, let's chat. And I've said this before in an interview before, but like when I tell them what it takes to get those things, they start to disassociate.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh man, like it requires this much consistency and this much work. It's like you're literally trying to become one of the world's biggest artists. What else do you expect? Like there are millions of other people trying to like go for the exact same position as you. So don't think that you can post 3 TikToks a week and you're going to get anywhere. Like you need to go hard.
Oh, the same exact things happened when I first started reacting. I said, you know what? I'm already watching these videos. I might as well do some damn reactions myself. And I started my channel, and it went crazy because it was during COVID. Nobody had anything to do but watch YouTube. So we hit 100,000 in the first year, like
Nice.
on my year mark. And then when I started just talking to other new reactors, like, look, be consistent. You got to do this, this, and this. They either lost their mind because it's a lot of work. I was dropping 25 videos a day. To this day, I don't know how the hell I was able to do it.
That's
because
insane.
I was spending literal 14 hours a day in my chair doing reactions. But it got me where I needed to be.
Yeah.
It more than exceeded my expectations as far as YouTube goes. I had no idea that you could make any kind of money on YouTube. And now it's like, okay, cool.
One thing that I like to keep in mind is that everything has a season, and there's going to be a season to chill, but it's just not right now. And therefore, you need to go in the exact opposite direction and just do as much as you physically can, regardless of your exhaustion. Not saying you should diminish your mental health, of course, but as hard as you can maintain on a consistent basis, it's the only, especially if it's just you. Like if you've got your PR team, people who are pushing and editing for you, that's great. Like that means you're even more efficient. But if it is just you, like you need to really sit down and develop systems to make sure that you're going to remain consistent and sustainable for, you know, a year, 2 years.
For at least the foreseeable short future.
Seriously.
You got to be willing to put in the work, regardless of what it is. It doesn't matter what you're creating. Nobody wants to see someone that drops a video per month. That video per month, sure, that video could do great. But like if there's more in there, people always want more. I found a lot of people that are like, oh, you drop too many reactions per day. But I look at it like, okay, it's a fun job. It's a fun job that I love to do. I've been introduced to so much new music now, ridiculously good music that I never ever, classical music. I never ever had any kind of appreciation for classical music until I got to the channel built up and started getting some requests. And now it's like, it boggles my mind how just music can make you feel like that. How there are no lyrics required whatsoever, and you can still be sitting there in tears. It doesn't make sense. There's something magical about it. And it's just, I don't know, things like that I'm really appreciative that we have the channel, because I still would be the same idiot before that was listening to all of this crazy drugs and bitches and hoes music on the radio. But then it really makes me disappointed that there's so much greatness out there that you never get to see because of the music industry controlling exactly what you see, like that, or what you hear coming through the radio. There's all kinds of artists that are better than anything that you've ever hear on the radio. You're right there with them. Like I should hear you on my damn radio when I get in the car. It bothers me. Like there's, I don't know. It's been a wild ride, and we've been introduced to all kinds of crazy shit. Dancing. I never cared about dancing before. I never even looked at it as a form of art, but now I can see all of the expression that people put into it, and it's like, okay, maybe I've been the one that's been missing out all of this time.
Totally. Well,
I just wish there was a way we could make everybody that's really genuinely like should be on the radio skyrocket. Just
I think that's honestly like, you need to, if we're going into like the artist territory, independent artist territory, you need to operate like a label yourself and exist within the realms of what they do, but just do it for yourself. And no, you probably don't have the budget they have. I know I don't. But if you can find the creative team to assist you in developing those nice music videos, you get your own camera to make your own decent TikToks, depending on what you do. Some people can just use the phone, and that's great. I've found that all my best TikToks are like high quality filmed on a camera. Like, you identify all these things, you figure out what systems you can implement. Like, that even might just be TikTok scheduling, where you film all day for one day, schedule everything out for the week, it's done for the week, and you have more posts than anyone else. You could do 4 a day. And how many of those might actually do well? Maybe 2 of them, 3 of them. And there's another 3,000 people or more who found your music and converted from TikTok to Spotify, and now they stream you on the daily. Like, it's a very, you've just got to be very self-aware and persistent with your art form and with your business. And I mean, I've seen success in all different areas now through just being as relentless as you can be as a single individual man. But there's a lot of people who don't want to do that, and also a lot of people who think when they're working hard that no one else on earth could possibly be working this hard. I must be doing it wrong. It's like, no, you're not. You're actually doing it right. It is meant to feel this hard, and you just have to keep going.
Nothing good comes easy. That's 100% true. There's too many people sitting around waiting on a handout that ain't never going to come to them because they're not willing to put in the work.
Yeah.
It's really not that hard. The internet is there. Good Lord, technology is at your side. There's nothing that you can't create. People are like, oh, well, who wants to watch that? When when Sandtageous on YouTube is making $1 million a year just crushing up sand, and people love the ASMR and watching it, they will watch anything. You're gonna get views on anything. It may not be as many views as you want, but everybody's got. If you drop it, they'll watch it. That's what I've learned through this whole process. And some things are just more worth watching than other things, but it doesn't matter what it is. Right now, the world for creatives, sure, it's saturated, and sure, AI is coming in and really ruining a lot of music as far as like what people are trying to create and just flooding YouTube with all this AI crap. But if you go out there and you actually look, you find the diamonds in the rough. You find these people that deserve way more. And I love to be able to show it to people. Hey, here, look at this guy. This is who you should be listening to, not this other crap. How does WAP get to #1? I don't know. Like, there's certain things out there that just don't make sense. But I think that anybody out there that's creating anything should brand yourself. There's no better time to do it than right now. Brand yourself.
Yep. And not to be cynical about it by any means, but a lot of these songs that really blow up that are completely backed by the major labels, like, they've paid to be there. They have the money. They spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to get Billboard #1s, to get on primary rotation on radio. So trying to fight them in that way, you're never going to beat them if you don't have somehow
really deep pockets.
Seriously, which none of us do. So finding a way to do it in a more clever way through the platforms that we have available to us, and also just having consistent releases, it's really important. And the main thing that I tell a lot of artists who sit on their songs for too long because all of a sudden they don't like them anymore, they've outgrown them, they're not going to release them, I'm like, every single song of mine that I didn't like as much, I still liked it enough to put it out, but it wasn't one of my favorites. Those are the ones that blew up. Which shows
man, I'm about to tell you, like I tell the other artists that we've interviewed, I don't care what it is. Even if you don't like it, make me an album called Dumpster Fire, because I'll listen to it all, because I know that it's going to be good. You're the most critical person of your own work, I'm sure.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, dude, like I said before with my lyrics, like, I'll sit there for sometimes a week on a single line. And by the 4th day, I'm just seething. Like, why can't I come up with this? Like, I'm not, like, you start off peaceful, and then you're sitting there like, what is wrong? Like, where's the line? Where's it coming? Like, it's not coming. And then eventually you find it. Like, But within that 4-day process or that week-long process, as I said before, there's been 50, 60, 100 lines I've written that could have been perfectly fine and fit. But because I'm so critical and I want to tell the story and be precise with it, I'm not happy yet, and I can't put it out until that story is told as perfectly as I feel like I can tell it. You know?
And that was one of the other questions was, how do you know when a song is truly finished? Like, how... For me, I'm one of those critical people too. I would keep going back and reviewing it. Well, how can I make it better? Do you just have to get to a certain point where you say, all right, enough is enough. I'm putting it out there the way that it is?
Honestly, for me, it's more of like a biological response. Like if I listen through something, whether it be the lyrics, the vocal takes that I've chosen, the instrumentation, if I'm listening through it after a bit of time off, like that could be half an hour, it could be a day. Like I've given my ears a break, and there's not a single moment that makes me cringe or like have like a biological reaction to it, then I know I'm good. Like you listen to the whole thing and you go, wow, that's really beautiful, and you're happy with it. But there's a lot of times, actually the best way to tell with a song is you might think it's beautiful in here, but then when I ask Nikki, my partner, to come in and listen, I'm making excuses for different parts of the song. You know, and then I'm like, wow, I didn't even realize these were a problem until I felt embarrassed about them when she walked in. And then that was the telltale sign for me to be like, oh, okay, these are the parts of the song that I want to move on. I want to go to a different song. So I've accepted. But when someone else listens to them, I'm embarrassed by them. So I need to sit down a little longer and tweak those sections a bit more, so those are refined and ironed out.
I like that you have it down to where you know it just like that. Like, if someone else listens to it and you feel like that, I can totally see just, okay, we need to get some more work, because I shouldn't feel like this when I'm showing anything to anybody.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's probably the most unique answer to that question that we've ever gotten, for sure. No one else has said, oh, it's just something that you feel, or no. Very interesting. Not to get back on the voice, but Emma asked, and I forgot to ask it, at the age that you were on there, how did you cope with all the publicity and the opinions and the criticisms that you got? Like, was it hard? Did it affect you?
Yeah, I would say a little bit. I've always had a pretty nonchalant attitude to things, so it didn't affect me in the way where I was like sitting in the corner just like dying. But there was one, I think it was the third performance, which was the battle. You know how they do the battle rounds?
Yeah.
Which I won. When we were actually filming that, the girl that I was up against her name was Joanna, an amazing vocalist. She's a beautiful person. And this was about a day or two prior to us actually filming it. I asked if we could take the key down by a semitone, like the tiniest bit, because it was really high for me. And I wanted to see if it was going to be good for her as well. We tried it. She was stoked. It was still perfectly within her range. It made my life a little bit easier. Everything was cool. We filmed it. It happened as it did, you know, whatever. Like Joanna and I, perfectly fine. When it was aired on TV, they had a whole segment about how I changed the key somehow half an hour before we went on stage, and I sabotaged Joanna.
What?
Yeah, it was literally before we went on stage, and I don't know how, look, I went and spoke to the musicians, which didn't happen. You don't even see them until you're on screen. And I lowered the key and completely threw her off. And I was like, you fucking liars. And because I was young, naive, like I'd never done it before, I was sitting there with my parents and a few of my friends because it was all a big moment. And when it went to like commercial break, we were all just like, holy shit, like I'm going to be the most hated person on the earth. And I saw the comments for about a day or two after on Facebook, because Facebook was the primary means of communication back then. And people were like, I can't believe it, sabotaging the competition. And then people move on just so quickly. And
just like that. When the next performance happens, then they forget all about it.
Totally. So it was never a thing. But that made me realize, in addition, that these shows are reality shows and they're just trying to get ratings. And like we said at the beginning, controversy is always going to be the thing that people latch onto. So they're just looking for stories throughout your experience to be like, oh, we can twist that to make it more interesting. And I was like, oh my God. So it was a cool realization, I guess, at the end of the day.
Very cool. Let me see. Hank asks, when you sing Ghost or With You live, do you still feel the same way you did when you wrote them, or have the songs taken on a new meaning for you since then?
Well, With You is a hypothetical song. I don't have a daughter, and that song is all about what I would say to my daughter. So I love the song and I enjoy singing it, but I don't have like that emotional connection to it because it's not about something that I actually have been through or a daughter that I have.
So if a third little human comes along and it happens to be a daughter, then it might take a whole new shape for you.
Well, then yes, it would. And you know, I thought I had this premonition because I wrote that song that our first child would be a daughter, and then we had 2 boys. So I'm not a psychic, obviously, but Ghost does still, and every now and then I do feel emotional singing that one because it's about my brother, and it's about his experience with bullying through high school. He was 3 years above me in school. We didn't really know what was happening, but when he graduated, he kind of unveiled all the shit that was going on. And when he told us, I wrote that song. So if he's ever in the room and I'm singing it, it's hard for me to hold it together because that's all about his experience in feeling transparent, like no one saw him, no one cared about him. And that's why, you know, the line, even a ghost needs a friend, it's talking about the person at school who no one gives a shit about, no one cares about, everyone bullies. That person still needs somebody, and school can be a savage place sometimes. So that one in particular, yes, I do feel
it definitely, like, it happens, and honestly I don't understand how it still happens. I'm one of those people that feels for everybody that gets bullied. I would like to be the bully's bully. So especially now that I'm older and stronger, and you definitely don't want to do it in front of me. But yeah, no, even watching videos like that about other people's experiences on a human level, we should all be able to connect to it in some way. It's going to make everybody feel some kind of emotional, especially the people that have gone through it. Lord knows there's a whole bunch of bully survivors out there, but there's also the ones that aren't here anymore because the bullying got too great and they decided to take it to that next level. Like, I don't know. That's a touchy subject with me. Bullying, suicide. I've had far too many of my friends decide to call it quits too early, and nobody knew a thing. They were the happiest go lucky people in the world, and for whatever reason decided this wasn't the place for them anymore. So anything like that destroys me.
No, and I totally align with you on that. And I think that's why with the various careers we choose, we try and position ourselves to help in whatever way we can. And with music being mine, like when someone does dive through the whole catalog, they realize that I've written about so many specific things that most people haven't been through, but the people who have are just like, oh my God, thank you for actually writing something that no one else has written about this topic. Like my Tragic Comedy was the newest one, but the one before that was called This House. And that song is about growing up in a domestic violence household. And the whole thing is literally just about that. And I know there's a lot of people who have gone through that, a lot of people who haven't. I never wrote that song expecting it to blow up because it's just insanely sad. But those who have been through it, who saw me post about it, were like, wow, I've never heard anybody speak on my behalf in that regard about something very specific that I've been through, you know. And I think that's what's so beautiful about songwriting and creativity is that you can hone in on different topics and help someone feel less alone when they really have no one else or nothing else to turn to.
Absolutely. There's been even just doing reactions to certain songs that people have never heard before. When it has some sort of thing that they can latch onto and connect to, and if they've been through that situation themselves, the comments, I'll be sitting here reading comments in tears because there's just so many moving things out there that music brings out of people. Is that one of the questions was, what do you hope people walk away with from your music? What do you hope the listeners take away? I'm assuming it's just like you want them to have that connectivity. You want them to be able to say, you know what? you're trying to do a good thing, create a positive atmosphere, even if it's touchy subjects. Yes.
That's it. I just want to help people feel seen. Really, it's either position myself to give them something that they can latch onto in a difficult time, or improve their perspective on something, or provide a different perspective on something. So a lot of the songs lately have been pretty sad. And so that's more connecting to the emotional side of things. But my previous albums, two of them, Conscience and Philosophy, had a lot of like philosophical themes in them, where I'm talking about the world and, you know, not really what happens after, well, kind of what happens after you die, but like all these big questions, and poetically kind of exploring those things, even talking about God and whatnot, because I don't know what I believe. Like, I haven't made my mind up. So talking to this hypothetical being, whoever he is for you, and just laying out these contemplative thoughts and allowing it to remain ambiguous and open enough where people can inject their own faith into them, and maybe they'll see a different side of it through what I've written. So it's really just to get people thinking, get people feeling. And I feel like the best way that humans have ever been able to do that is through stories. We all connect to stories, every single one of us. And that's why I think I'm so pedantic about lyrics. Like, they need to be on point, because that story needs to be told in the correct way.
Absolutely. I totally agree. What kind of genres of music do you listen to? Like, what you make your own music, but what are you other listening to? Who's inspiring you? Who's
It's funny, I don't really listen to music that's similar to mine, because a lot of the time with the music I'm writing, it's for other people. Like, it's not for me. Most of the time I'm either listening to hip hop or metal, which you probably wouldn't expect, because my music is so emotional and you know, sometimes quite calm. But really, to be honest, the only time I'm listening to music is at the gym, and I want to be hyped up at the gym, so it's either hip hop or metal. And if I'm in a state where I'm struggling with lyrics and I just want to get inspiration, I'll turn on a whole range of different songs on Spotify, and I'll sit there and just look at the lyrics and read the lyrics and see what other people are saying and how they're saying them, and what the syllables are doing, just to get other people's take on lyricism. You know, like, that's probably one of my biggest hobbies that I never talk about. It's just listening to a song and just staring at the lyrics, and just like, not even like capturing the meaning of the song, yes, but primarily looking at the syllables and which letters are coming after another to make it flow so well. Because you can have the perfect amount of syllables, but if you have the wrong lettering, it still sounds clunky. Like, it's like a puzzle. The whole thing is a puzzle. And I'm just obsessed with trying to find the right way to say things where it rolls off the tongue like this, instead of it being like choppy, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely, it makes sense. So I would have totally not pictured you saying hip hop or metal.
No.
Though with the hair, maybe I could see the metal.
And the stretches as well.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even notice the stretches.
No, I grew up listening to metal primarily. I was obsessed. I was like emo kid, like just listening to all that shit. And then hip hop kind of took over for me. I would say that's the primary thing I listen to now, and then metal kind of comes in every now and then.
Would you say most of your songs are based on personal experiences or the experiences of those around you? Ashton was just curious where you get your inspiration from.
Yeah, no, it's rare that they're about me. I don't write about me very much. Like, there are a few, I would say, like Black Sheep Part 2, Drift, Zen, maybe. Like, a few of my songs which are kind of from my own experience and things that I really want to convey. But the vast majority of my songs are characters that I've created. And that could be a real person, that could be an imaginary person, that could be a collective group of people who I've morphed into one person. Like, it's usually somebody else that I'm trying to empathize and put myself in their shoes and think about what they would say if I was living that, you know? So I've always found that to be easier for me.
And that can make it extremely difficult too. It seems like you really got to sit down and think about the exact things that somebody else is going through.
Yeah, you've got to like live it in your mind as best you can. And that's why when you're writing really sad songs, a lot of the time you are in tears because you have found a way to sit in that position, or at least the image that you've been able to come up with and what you think it's going to be like. Like I've got songs about schizophrenia. I don't have schizophrenia. I've got songs about domestic violence. Like I said, I didn't grow up in a household like that. I've got songs from the perspective of a kid who's been kidnapped. Like there's a shit ton of them. Like I've got religious songs. I'm not religious. Like it's, you know, it's just finding someone's identity, creating a character, and sitting there for as long as you need to until you've come up with something that's tangible enough where you think someone who actually has been through that is going to connect. And I'm lucky enough to say that all those songs I've written, people who are going through it, they ask me like if I've been through it or what I'm dealing with. And it's like, no, I haven't. I think it's just it's an empathy thing, you know?
I think that makes you an amazing person outside, away from all the music, just because you see people that a lot of people look past. You wonder about the situations. You got to sit down and actually put it in your mind how horrible it would be. You got to go through some sadness yourself in order to get the sadness out.
Totally. Yeah. And that's why I think a lot of artists are writing from their perspective and about their come up, especially when you listen to like hip hop. It's like, I came from nothing. Now I've got a Lambo. And it's like, okay, like we're rinsing the same theme. And like, that's going to seem very true to them because it is. And that's great. They should write about those things. But I find it very interesting when I come across a song that's about a topic that I haven't heard anyone else talk about. Instead of just like, look at all the fucking ice that I'm wearing. It's like,
yeah, it gets extremely old. I'm all for a good, like, if you came from nothing and you made yourself into something awesome, talk your shit. But you also got to talk something else too. Like we don't only want to hear you talk about how awesome you are.
Yeah. And I think that's why I love Joyner Lucas. If you know Joyner, like his lyricism is just sick. Like, and I've spoken to his manager over the last couple of weeks. I was lucky enough to chat with him and have phone calls with him, and he's a G. But like, there are very, very small few artists who are as big as him, who I just listen to every song, and I'm like, how are you doing that? Like, how are you coming up with all these like ridiculously accurate ways to say things that I could never say? And I guess that's what people feel about my stuff too, you know? So like, we're all kind of seeking that simultaneously.
But it's cool that there's that community there too, that, hey, people, it's not always, it doesn't have to be as cutthroat as the mainstream music industry. It really, like, I don't understand why more people don't just talk and get along. And everybody over here in America, for sure. Like, if you're listening to the music over here, everyone's out for everybody. It's like, oh, I have to be the best. I'm going to hold everything close to my chest. When you see all these YouTubers, Ren, and all of these other people out there that are making amazing, truly amazing music, and they have like this whole community of other artists that they're talking with, that they discuss music with, that they go over all of these things. I don't know. I feel like the independent artist way is more of a community than it is anything cutthroat. There's not, once you get into that, even hip hop, all the diss tracks and everything that's going around, like, for what? Aside from chaos, really, for what?
The controversy again.
I don't even, if in every single diss track that's ever been sent my way for a reaction has gotten deleted from the list. I'm not doing this. I don't want the controversy. I don't want people arguing and bickering in my comment section. We've created a beautiful community full of people from all over the world that they're able to come in and be seen for the way that they are and accepted the way that they are. And it doesn't, I don't know. I build my world with optimism instead of all of this crazy. There's enough chaos out there already. There's enough people being cutthroat. The world has gone a little crazy in the last 10 years.
It's definitely, it's fucking full on. And I think especially living in the States, like I imagine you'd feel it on a whole different level. Like living in Australia, like we kind of feel like we're a little bit hidden off the map, you know? So we still watch it. It still shows up. We see it all, but there's that degree of separation we have because we're on our little separate island over here.
Yeah,
You know?
that's the way I felt hidden in Thailand. I lived in Thailand for eight years. Went over there, created an amazing life. Now I forced back to the States, and it's like, oh my God, where the fuck am I? Like, what is going on? The world's gone crazy. Over there, everybody's happy. Everybody still meets your eye and says hello. And I don't know. It's a different way of life, a slower way of life. Here, everybody's got everything down to the last minute. I got to be here. I got to do this. I got to go see so-and-so. They don't ever have time to just sit down and relax. Over there, every hour of every day was mine.
Mm-hmm.
I could do whatever the hell I wanted with my time, and time is valuable to me.
Yep. I think it suits different personalities and also different times of your life. Like when I was saying seasons, like there are times where I wish I was over there so I could just be involved in the chaos more so. And maybe not the chaos, but like that elevated level of productivity, that collective productivity that's going on. Like I need to manufacture that here. Where I live, it's chill. Everyone's just chilling.
It's too hard. You're going to fall into that chill spot and not want to do anything.
Just it's hard to find anyone who's just like, you know what, you've got an idea, let's go, let's get it done, let's get it out. It's like, let's look at the calendar and we might have some time in 2.5 weeks or maybe 3. And it's like, fuck, like I'm like, because I have that, like I want to just push and get stuff out there. So that's probably the primary reason that I live in this room, because I can manufacture that here and I can just go as hard as I want to without feeling like whenever I speak to somebody else that's not within my circle, it's like a 2-month turnaround to get a reply. It's like, it's an eye roll, man. So like there's some beautiful pros of living here. I love raising my family here and the calm nature of it is great. But in the way of business and productivity, like being in the States would be a level up for me, I imagine.
Yeah, you probably, I mean, it would definitely immerse you in some of this crazy culture that we got over here. A lot of this, like everybody's balls to the wall constantly. I don't know. It's chaotic for me. I really is. It's just everybody. Oh, I got to go to work. I got to come home. I got to sleep. I got to go to work. Holy shit. I don't understand how I ever worked a 9-to-5 job, but my jobs have been a little weird. I was in Afghanistan for 6.5 years. Before that, I was in the Marine Corps. And then I went to Thailand for 8 years. So I've lived differently. And then coming back to this, like, how do you guys find time to do anything whatsoever other than work? There's no balance. So there are some people out there that are literally just working themselves to death. But I can see also if you're in too chill of a spot, it might be a little harmful. If you didn't have your studio right there, I don't know how, like, that would make it a little hard.
If I didn't develop the ability to produce and I had to rely on other people's time to get in the studio, I'd be ripping my hair out, you know, like, so being able to create here and just write as much as I want to, as quickly as I want to, even depending on how quickly a song might come, that kind of keeps me in the game, you know. And like my last song was charting in the States and it was charting everywhere, Tragic Comedy. And I know you reacted to that one. You know, so it's like what I'm able to manufacture here in this room is obviously still keeping me within the same cadence of the people who are a bit more connected over there. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm glad that you found the way to make it work, because a lot of people try and fail. Even people that you know that they have the talent. There's a few artists that I used to react to that now they've just stopped doing music because it wasn't doing what they wanted it to do. And it's like, I hate seeing them give up. I hate seeing them feel like everything's too overwhelming for them, even because they've got the talent, like Voices of Gold. And then all of a sudden it's just, they fall off.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think it comes down to, and this is going to sound so obvious, but like how badly you want it and what the alternative is if you stop. Like I've never contemplated stopping because when I think of the alternative, I'm like, I would rather suffer through this than find a job because I had enough, you know, like this is still preferential as opposed to me jumping back into a 9 to 5, because I did more than enough of that when I was coming up. So like if I write a full album and it flops, that's still a much better situation than if I stopped completely and removed my creativity and worked down at the grocery shop, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
no
thing. And the thing is, like, the people who work there and some people, that's a really nice, sustainable life. I'm not saying it's a bad thing by any means. I mean, those were the essential people throughout COVID. Like, that's the essential group. But we all know our personality, you know? We all know, like, what lights us up. And for you, it's what you do. For me, it's what I do. And even when it's difficult and you feel like you're not getting anywhere, it's still the best case scenario, you know?
Yeah, I don't ever, literally, I never want to go back to work for anybody else in my entire life. Even people say, oh, what happens if the channel does get taken away? We'll find something else to do.
Yeah.
We'll find another platform. We'll do something.
Mm-hmm.
But it won't be me going back to a damn working for Joe Schmo so he can pay for his lights to be on. I like being able to pay for my lights to be on. I see so many
100%.
people over here, especially in California where I live. It's damn expensive as shit to live here. Like beyond expensive, unholy expensive. I don't want to have to go to the kind of money that I would have to make in order to live here. I'm thankful that now I've got a studio here. We started with like a wall behind me that I painted green and it was like green screen effect. No. Now I live with mom, but it's cool. Mom lives by herself. We got this house. It has a studio in the backyard. I'm cool. I got banned from Thailand for 5 years. That's why I'm waiting until I'm able to go back over there to be with my missus again. But we've been apart for like 3 years now. So I got 2 years left. But the ultimate goal is that getting the fuck back out of America because it's too much for me.
Especially with the news cycle of what's been going on, which we obviously don't need to get into, but like, Jesus, it's ridiculous.
It's wild. Living here is so damn wild. Especially, I would love to be in any state other than California. That would even be okay. I'll go to Las Vegas or something where my brother's at. But being here, this isn't the same city that I grew up in anymore. It's a completely different place. The homelessness and the crazy has gone through the roof. There's just, and I hate seeing people in those predicaments, knowing that you can't do shit to help somebody, but it's everywhere that you look. And I don't understand how it's got that bad, but I like having the outsider's perspective on it. That way I've been outside of the States. I've done my traveling and it made me realize that there are better places that people could be there. It all depends on you. Like that's what I tell people. If you feel like you need to get out and you feel there's anything that says, oh, I want to study abroad, I want to work abroad, I want to go visit, go do it. Just because someone else discovered something don't mean you can't go discover it for yourself. I've been to so many places that I would gladly call home before here, but family, that's what keeps me here in California because family above all else. I'll deal with the chaos so long as I have grandma's 92. So I can't be away from I can't be away from the family for that long.
Yeah, man. No, 100%.
Ashton says, with who, dead or alive, would you love to work with and why? That's a random question.
Jeez, I'm never very good with those questions. And I think it's because I do kind of live in the void and I just like don't even
I'd like to work with myself like I'm doing right now.
All my answers are going to be so vanilla. I'm going to have to say, I feel like it's more interesting when you say somebody dead. I'm going to say 2 people, 1 alive, 1 dead, 1 who's an artist, 1 who's not an artist. And I don't think you could really work with the person who's dead, not because he's dead, just because of the profession and the age he was in. But I have grown up very inspired by the rise of Ed Sheeran, as you can probably imagine, like all the acoustic, emotional, like his first 2 albums primarily, like that lyrical, like there's still some songs of his on that first 2 album that I'm chasing to reach that level of tangibility. like A Fire Love and Tenerife Sea and all these songs that like are just like so perfectly crafted. So we're actually trying to get on tour with him right now, and that's a shot in the dark if there's ever been one, but he's coming to Australia next year, so I'm doing what I can to see if I can support.
That would be beyond amazing.
Dude, that'd be mental, you know? And like, as I said, it's the longest shot you could ever ask for, but you still got to put yourself down and make the attempts to get on there. But the person who came to mind first that I would love to meet at least and talk to is Marcus Aurelius. If you've ever heard of him.
I've heard of him. Absolutely an intriguing one. You said not an artist, but that's not where I expected you to go.
No, yeah, like the Roman emperor back in the day seemed like, at least what was written in the Meditations, which I've read many times, that he was the most virtuous person I've ever read about, ever known about. Like, to have that level of power and accessibility and still live a virtuous life, I don't know how many people could actually do that without giving into temptation. So he is like the pinnacle of human, in my opinion, of what I've read in his book that was never even meant to be published because it was a diary. So I know that's not really answering who would I work with apart from Ed. That's a character that I've admired, and that stoic mentality that I try and carry in my life. So
he would be an intriguing one to at least sit down and have an hour-long conversation with.
Oh man. Yeah. And I think there's lots of people who would probably say his name too, for that exact reason, because we all understand how difficult it can be, especially with access, to remain virtuous and to completely turn away from tempting things. And you don't know what you'd be like unless you're actually in that situation. So reading about somebody who, at least seemingly, or I would like to believe, did live that way at the highest possible realm of society, like that's a really interesting like ability or character to hold, you know?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I think that'd be really cool.
I think that's a perfect answer, actually. Suzette said, I read somewhere that Robbie Williams will bring you back to your youth. What was it about Robbie Williams that keeps those memories?
Wow, where the hell did you read that? That's crazy. Fucking deep. I don't even know if I've ever spoken about that.
Oh, but she's right.
Well, yeah, because whenever my parents and I, with my brother, would go on holidays, you know, we'd go to like Noosa or Mooloolaba, which is a few hours from where we lived. It's just like a beachy town. He would play Robbie Williams and I think Frank Sinatra on the trips every time, like the same CDs every single time. So we just had those songs memorized. Like there was never another song played. It was always those two. So yeah, I mean, listening to those songs, it's just very nostalgic, I guess, for me.
Very cool. I don't know where she dug it up at either. That's
no,
one
that's
of my
like
Discord moderators. She's like the FBI.
That's some Nardwar shit right there.
She was also wondering if you watch Eurovision. She's just wondering because Australia takes part.
I think I might have watched one, maybe when in passing. I've never really.
You don't like get all excited, throw on your Eurovision t-shirt, sit down.
I've never really understood why we're in it, to be honest. It doesn't make sense, and yet we always are. I haven't met the dude who was in it last, but I know people who know him, and his name was Gojo, and he did a song, I think it was The Ice Cream Man or something. And I thought he was really like good. I thought his song was super catchy, very Eurovision, but unfortunately he didn't win. I'm not sure where he came in the contest. But no, I've never really watched it. But to be real, I don't watch much TV at all. It's pretty rare that I'll watch anything.
So you got the TV, but it stays off.
It's just for the boys and Nikki, really. Like I'll still sit with Nikki and we'll watch something together. You know, we'll watch a movie together or something, but it's very rare that I'll turn on a series. Like people ask like if I like Game of Thrones, I'm like, never seen it. What do you think about Breaking Bad? Never seen it. Like I haven't watched anything.
And I don't think you're missing out. Sure, they're fun while you watch them, but everything comes to an end.
Yeah.
And then you gotta find something new.
The reason why is I know I would probably get obsessed. and I would binge the shit out of it. So
And
I
it's gonna
kind of
take away from productivity in that room right there.
totally, yeah. I avoid it for that reason, because I know that all these shows people say are amazing. I'd probably agree, and I would just go like if I love something, I just go like all in, and everything else would just die while I finish that series. So I remain at a distance.
So you do it for the benefit of your music. I got it. Makes
Let's
sense,
say
because
that, yeah.
Lord, we would miss the songs.
For real. Honestly, that would be like 2 weeks of no writing. That'd be crazy.
All right. So the next questions are kind of random. Do you remember the first lyric you ever wrote that made you think, "Oh, damn, that's actually really good"?
Yeah, and it's shit. Before I released Chariot, which is my first song in 2015, I'd written, I don't know, hundreds of songs before, or maybe not hundreds, but a lot of songs prior. And I remember when I was doing the voice, they asked if I had any originals, and I sung them 2 of them, and they were all kind of like, all right, bro, nice, like thanks for that. Like they were, and I thought they were amazing, but they were horrible. I don't even like. It sounds really basic to say, but there was one with a chorus that just said "You are perfect" over and over and over again, and I was like, "This is so profound." This is just insane. And I was just singing it over and over again, and they were like, "Man, this is hella boring." So I remember some of my first lyrics. There was another song called Hocus Pocus, which I still have in my notes somewhere. I can't remember the lyrics, but yeah, all of my songs at the very beginning I was obsessed with, until I kind of came full circle and developed some self-awareness and realized that, oh, these are mid, you know. But you've got to start with horrible shit. Like people look at my songwriting or other people's songwriting and go like, you've just been good from the beginning. It's like, nah, like I've written hundreds of songs that were horrible, and I still write shit songs now, you know. Like in between the good ones that you hear, there might be 2 that I've kind of conjured up that I listen to at the end and just go, this sucks.
So you have way more songs that you've thrown away than you've published.
It's probably even, I would say.
By even? So you had a 50% rate?
Yeah, like these days, I'm good at identifying if it sucks quicker instead of sitting on it for a few days. So now, like, I could come up with 3 songs today, and it could be a 2-3 hour window each. And by the 3rd hour, I'm like, this is just not going anywhere, and I can't come up with melodies for this, and I'll just can it straight away. But that's still, you know, the seed of a song that was created, discarded, and then eventually you try again and you find something worth keeping. If anyone says that every single song they ever write is just top tier and they release it, I think they're lying. Like you're gonna have bad songs in between the good ones all the time.
Yeah. Have you ever written something that later on you realized that it meant a lot more than you thought it was going to mean?
Yeah, I actually have a theory about that. A lot of the time I don't realize I'm injecting my own experiences until about 3 months later. It tends to be a 3-month window after release. So I put a song called Drift out about 2.5 years ago, 3 years maybe. And I did not think it was about me at all. I just liked the vibes. It was like an electronic tune. And 3 months later, I listened to it, and the entire song was exactly about what I was going through at that moment, but I didn't realize it when I was creating it.
Holy shit.
So a lot of the time I'll come back to my music with, like, if I haven't heard it in a month or 2, and I'm just like, oh my God, like, you know what? I actually did inject more of my personal experience than I originally thought, because when I was writing it, I had in my mind this character, but I was pushing myself into that character without knowing it, you know? So
yeah. How long has it been since you've been on a stage in front of people?
I think I was on tour in November last year. I think around then last year, I was in Europe doing a tour, and it went really well. My European UK tours always do quite well, especially in Romania.
Wow.
I sell like 1,000+ tickets in Romania, and they all know the lyrics and are vibing.
They all
So
sing along with you. That's got to be the best feeling in the world when the audience starts singing to you and you're like, oh yeah, they know the song.
oh, it's the greatest thing, man. Like when you're on stage and everything you've written is your own thoughts, like I've said in here, or in before even I had a house in my dad's garage. And you have all these people who English isn't even their first language, but they know every single lyric and they're just like chanting it back at you. It's very difficult not to be emotional on stage, you know? Like I think it's if there were a bunch of people writing my songs and people were singing it back to me, I don't think I would feel that. But because they're all coming from me and they've started as a seed and they've gone through the process, been released, become popular, they're singing them. It's like this was literally an intangible thought for a second that could have easily just been a fleeting idea, but I held on to it, captured it, and now look at what it's become. Like that's a crazy thing to live, you know?
Yeah, it's got to be mind-boggling to hear them all just saying your words back to you. It's like, whoa. Especially for the non-English speakers. I think that's the coolest thing in the world. People just, music has no boundaries at all.
And that's why I want to go to Asia. Because it seems like there's a lot of people in Asia who listen to my songs. I've just never had the opportunity to play there. So it'd be cool to see.
It would be cool to do an Asia tour. You gotta wait till I'm back in Thailand for that one so I can come see myself.
Yeah, I'll wait 2 more years for you.
Let's see. What's something you've never written about but that you want to?
I was thinking about it actually when you mentioned it before. I don't think I've ever touched on suicide in a way that I'm happy with. That's a weird sentence to say.
No, but it makes sense. That's
yeah. I would really like to write a song that encourages people or helps people or accompanies them through that when they're dealing with the grief of losing somebody completely out of the blue that they didn't even think was depressed, probably.
Yeah, some of mine, they were the most smiley, happy people you ever met, and then the next day they were gone, and it was like, nobody knew.
No, it's I don't know if there's anything more shocking and unbelievable. Like the grief never goes away with things of that nature. I don't think it ever really simmers down either. Like it's always there in you. And I have not experienced that. I haven't had a friend or a loved one commit suicide, but that still hasn't stopped me from writing about other topics that I feel comfortable enough to share. So I think it'll eventually come when the time is right. I never force anything. I'm not going to be like, today I'm sitting down and I'm writing about this. Like I'll come up with melodies, and what the melodies insinuate, I'll then fit the lyrics around it. But eventually I know the day will come where I've come up with a melody that I think is appropriate for that, and I'll release something. But yeah, I think that's one of the things that many people have had to deal with. A friend, a family member, somebody who's been lost to that. And I would like to contribute something to those people. So
I think it's important and honorable. I really do, because there are so many people out there that, even myself included, I struggle with it all the time. Anytime something pops up in my head that makes you think about those people, or even just the YouTube, being semi-successful on YouTube, that's something you want to tell your friends, and then you realize that there's some people that you'll never get to say it to. They'll never get to see what you became. They'll never, I don't know. That's always, I don't, like you said, it never goes away. It'll never disappear. It's just one of those things. I woke up and one day they weren't there anymore, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Especially when you start thinking about what they could have become and the things that they could have done, the things that they offer to the world. So I think it is honorable, even though you haven't experienced it. We know from some of your other songs that you have a way of putting yourself in there to where it's like you've experienced it. And I know that you'll do it justice when the time comes, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And I think it's also finding the courage to put yourself in that situation too, because I don't think the mind really knows the difference sometimes. And if you're consciously and subconsciously trying to go there, like you probably feel those harrowing feelings, not to the same degree, of course, because it's not something that's actually happened. But I know through my other songs of a similar kind, like you for a little while, you convince yourself it's happened.
Yeah,
to actually
absolutely.
articulate it, you know? So just, yeah, gathering the courage, I think, to be like, you know what, like this one feels appropriate for it. So we're going to go there today. And if this song takes me 2 weeks, we're going to stay there for 2 weeks until we finish that one. All in the cause of writing something for people like yourself who have lost people.
And I think I don't know, I think it's noble when people are empathetic. There's not enough empathy in the world right now. And then just for people to say, you know what, I want to know what it's like to be in your shoes, or to say, I'm going to put myself there for a little while and try to see what it feels like. Like things that people don't even think about. Most of the time it's just like, oh, I don't know anybody like that. But you never know what could happen. Like, and you never know how you would react unless you've had to go through it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's very cool. I look forward to anything that you drop. Obviously, we'll be there for it. Let's see. What role does discipline play in your creativity?
Oh, it's everything. I'm always on the daily trying to be more disciplined. Like I have this stupid desire to live like a perfect life, which doesn't exist, and I know that. But I also know how I feel when I lay on my pillow, and I know when I've had a close to perfect day. You know, like we all experience that, where it's like, fuck, like I screwed up here, I, you know, did this here, I spoke to this person badly here, and I let my emotions take over. I yelled at my kids today, whatever. And I try and take stock of all of it, and try and just improve on the day-to-day. And you wish that was a linear thing where you are improving every day, but it's not. You're always doing this depending on where you're at and how stressed you feel and everything like that. But I've always had a deep obsession, and I guess this kind of ties back to the philosophical nature of things, that I love the idea of willpower and I love the idea of discipline. And if I didn't have that, I would not be here, because no one's telling me to do this. I don't have a manager going, hey man, we need TikToks today, or we need a song today. Yeah. Like there's so many days where I don't feel like doing anything, and yet I do every day. There's probably 3 days in the week I don't feel like going to the gym, but I do, because I'm obsessed with it, and I have a goal for my physique and health and whatnot. So if anything, I've just learned over the years that I don't know how to put it in a better way, but it doesn't really matter how you feel sometimes. Just do the thing. Like, yes, you should take stock of how you're feeling, especially with a mental health standpoint. And if you need a break, take a break. But if you feel like you're in a stable position mentally, but you feel lazy or tired, to me, that's not an excuse at all. Like I just continue on, because at the end of it, whether it be a gym session or a songwriting day, or spending an extra 2-3 hours at night when I'm tired, coming back in here to continue writing, like I found that most of the time that's when my best ideas arrive. And it was a split decision away from me never coming up with that stuff and just going straight to bed. But when you finish, you're proud of yourself for pushing through it. You're happy you came up with something creative. And then you go to bed feeling better about yourself because you actually did what you said you were going to. So to me, it's literally everything. And that's probably the reason that I mentioned Marcus Aurelius before, because he's the epitome of that. So it's a big one.
Absolutely. Without it, I don't think you would be where you're at. No, because you've got a drive that a lot of people honestly don't have, unless they really want it. You got to look past all of the things that are standing in your way. It's just, totally. Even with me, there's days that I'm like, you know what, I don't feel like doing shit today, but I know what the alternative is. And I'm like, okay, no, I need to get up. I need to do my little workout. I need to come out here. I need to. And even then, when I go to bed, I'm the same way. I'm sitting there thinking about all of the things that I did throughout the day and convincing myself that, okay, I'm satisfied. It was a good day.
Yep.
I used to go to bed and ask myself, who did I teach something to today? Who did I learn something from today? And who did I make smile? And those were my 3 questions. And I would fall asleep to that every night.
Yep.
It's just, there's so many people that haven't found a way to not just spin their wheels, I guess. Like, you got to have the drive, and it's obvious that you do. I only have a couple more questions for you, but I do want to get back together with you again in the future, and we can touch base and see how everything's going on. Suzette says, any guilty pleasures that we need to know about?
Guilty. Let's have a think. Well, because I'm pretty, like, I track my calories, you know, I'm very like particular about fitness, physique, strength, food. I'd probably say the things that if we're talking food based, it's I don't know if you guys have Max Brenner in America. I don't think you do. It's just like, it's like a Waffle House kind of vibe where it's just like chocolate waffles, just like the most like heinous, just as much as you can fit on your plate type shit. And Nikki has got me deeply into popcorn, so we've always got popcorn in the cupboard, just like smashing it. And when I'm like bulking, that's fine, but I'm on like a cut right now, so it's like, okay, that needs to not be a thing unless maybe one cheat meal a week. Trying to think. The other thing that I don't think it's a guilty pleasure, but something I need to do less is I do watch quite a number of YouTube videos. Like, it's like if I'm doing anything, if I'm cooking, even if I'm driving, it's on the side, like not watching it, of course, but you know, like if I'm not occupied, I've got something going on, and I need to appreciate silence more, so I can just be and just exist and like let more ideas come. So my obsession with watching YouTube videos is pretty high, which kind of sucks, but you know.
So you're saying you need to cut back on that. I got, you know, many I've watched, not counting reactions. Holy shit. I really got to cut back on my YouTube intake. I've been hooked on this new musical, Epic the Musical. I'm hooked. It's like I'm an addict. I've been watching all the other people react to it since I've already reacted to it.
Yep.
It's not healthy. YouTube's not healthy. So I'm not telling you to stop watching my videos either.
No, you're exempt. You're exempt, and my channel is exempt. You can watch that all day.
Yeah, definitely stay on the channel. Let's see. What's the best way for people to help you out?
I think
sharing the video around. What is it?
It's the standard, just like following and interacting primarily, like leaving comments. You know, I've got a clothing brand. It's called Lowlyland, which is my record label too. You know, and like that's locked right now until the next drop, but like supporting it through that way, grabbing the clothes, you know, just interacting with, it's what all of us say online. Like the algorithms are built in that nature, and if you can have people interacting, commenting, liking, sharing, all that kind of stuff, like everyone says it makes a difference, but it really does. Like it really does help.
Yeah.
Because then you might just slip into that suggested feed. And that's what happened with I Belong to You. Like that was just another video I put out. It slipped in the suggested algorithm, and then it got 100 million views. I didn't do anything differently with that video. Like my other videos, that a fair number of them are in the million, a fair number of them are in the hundreds of thousands. Some of them didn't even hit 100K. But that one in particular, because I guess of the interaction and the momentum, it just like fell into that wheel, and it just kept getting spat out to millions of people, you know, and that changed my life. So like interaction's a big deal.
All right. Very good. Well, I definitely appreciate having you on. I think we'll be able to send some more people your way for sure. Yeah, man, it's just you seem like nose to the grindstone all the time, but I definitely like to hook back up with you again in the future, touch base, see what kind of new things are going on.
Yeah, would love to, man. And thank you for supporting my music and reacting to it and sharing it with your audience and taking the time today for a chat. Like, you're a legend, bro. I really appreciate your content, and I've subscribed, obviously, and I wish you all the best with all the videos you make. So
Absolutely. Maybe if there's an important one that comes up, we'll get together and do a reaction to your song together. That could be kind of interesting. Then
Yeah,
you
it'd
can
be fun.
actually explain some things about the song that aren't from my perspective either, that come from the creator's perspective. That would be kind of awesome.
Totally, man. Would love it.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you. I will see you in the studio after I click this end recording. Everybody get over, show Jacob Lee all the love in the world. All the links that you're going to need are going to be down inside the description. Hit the like button if you liked it. The dislike button, but it won't believe you. Tell the next one, I'm Combustible. You guys be happy, healthy, safe. I love you to the moon and back. Peace.
You.